Okay, now we have to solve this thing. And it says, let's see, solve this inequality. Okay, well, look, let's factor this, and we'll use synthetic division, so we have to come up with the P over Q, so we'll find all the possibilities for P. So P, plus or minus, what are all the factors of 20? Well, they're 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. And for Q, all the possibilities are plus or minus 1 and 2, the factors of 2. And so for P over Q, we've got plus or minus. And let's see, when Q is 1, we'll have 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, 20. And when Q is 2, we'll have 1/2 and 5/2. Good. Now, let's try one of these out. How about, let's see, first synthetic division, so I need the box here. And I'll start off with a -2, coefficient on x cubed, plus 19. I don't need the plus, it's minus 49 and 20. And we bring down that -2, and I'm going to try 1/2 here and see what happens. So 1/2 of -2 is -1. Add them up. We get 18. Half of 18 is 9. Add them up. We get -40. And half of -40 is -20. And what's the remainder? 0. Hey, that means that 1/2 is a 0 of this thing. So now we can write this quotient as, or in factored form, we can write this as x minus 1/2. And what we're writing is this thing, what we started with in factored form, times -2 x squared plus 18x minus 40 is greater than 0. And now let's factor out a -2 out of every term in here. So we'll have a -2 times x minus 1/2 times x squared minus 9x plus 20 is greater than 0. And we'll stop. Okay, now we'll continue. So before we go any farther, let's multiply through by this -1. In other words, I'll multiply both sides by a -1, a -1. When we do that, what the result is, not only do we get rid of the negative, and -1 times 0 is still 0, but we flip the inequality. Now it turns out we can take care of two pieces of business. We can distribute this 2. We'll multiply each term in here by that 2, so we get 2x, and 2 times 1/2 is 1. And this factors, so we get x and x and less than 0, a minus and a minus and a 4 and a 5. Now, we have it in factored form, so let's draw our number line and hash mark it at what takes this to 0, 1/2 does. What takes this to 0, 4 does. And how about this guy, 5 takes that to 0. Now we'll sign the graph. So if x is, say, 0, anything less than 1/2 in this interval, well, you'll agree we'll have the product of 3 negatives, which is negative. Now, if x is something greater than 1/2 but less than 4, it's in this interval, how about 1? Then this will be positive, letting x be 1. This will be negative, and that will be negative, so the product of two positives is positive. Now, this time around, we've got a, by the way, I'm going to put open circles here because there's no equal sign associated with that inequality. Now, let x be something like 4.5. This will be positive, that'll be positive, that'll be negative. An odd number of negatives, the product of which is negative. And finally, if we let x be anything greater than 5, then we'll have all positive values, and the product of all positives is positive. So now we've got to solve. Well, which are we going to choose? Well, we're going to choose the negatives, and why is that? Because we're talking less than 0, so that's negative. So then our solution is negative infinity to 1/2 union with 4, the open interval 4 to 5. And that's the solution to the inequality we were given right there.